Hi guys, welcome again to Learning TWI the Fun Way with TWI Junior Pro. My name is Kwesi, and before we start today's lesson, I just want to apologize for a few things, right? I know some of you have been sending me messages, but I haven't gotten around to respond to them. Sorry for that. This week has been hectic, and I think it's going to be hectic till March or so, right? And for those that wanted private lessons, right, guys, if you don't mind, could we actually start in March? Because I think that's when we'll actually be freer, because our day-to-day life is a bit hectic now due to work and everything else, and we want to give you guys our undivided attention. So if possible, and if you guys are okay with it, please, let's start in March. That would be great for all of us, right? With that out of the way, let's start with today's lesson. So today, Daniel sent me 7 translations that he wanted me to help him with, right? Daniel, thanks again for your continuous support. And these are the things that Daniel wanted to know. The first thing that Daniel wanted to know was how to say, God will do it in his time. Again, God will do it in his time. So let's start with God, right? Now in TWI, God can be commonly said in 3 ways, right? Now the first way is Onyankopɔn, then Onyame, then the third one is Awurade. Again, Onyankopɔn, Onyame, or Awurade. Now to add the sentence that come afterwards, which is will do it in his time, in TWI would be bɛyɛ no ne berɛ mu. Again, bɛyɛ no ne berɛ mu. One last time, bɛyɛ no ne berɛ mu. So the whole sentence could either be one of these 3, right? Onyame bɛyɛ no ne berɛ mu, or Onyankopɔn bɛyɛ no ne berɛ mu, or Awurade bɛyɛ no ne berɛ mu. And the second thing that Daniel wanted to know was, how can you do that? Again, how can you do that? And please remember, TWI is a tonal language, right? So depending on the tone or the way you say it, right, can mean different things. So now, how can you do that in TWI can possibly be translated in 3 ways, right? Now let's start with the first one. Assuming I did something wrong and somebody's reprimanding me, right? So let's say I broke a glass, then my dad comes in and he says, Kwesi, how can you do that? Right? I'm being reprimanded, right? Now in TWI, that can be said as Adɛn na woyɛɛ saa. Again, let me slow it down. Adɛn na woyɛɛ saa. One last time. Adɛn na woyɛɛ saa. But in that context, my dad will actually come and say, Kwesi, Adɛn na woyɛɛ saa. I'm being reprimanded, right? Now, the second way that one can actually say, how can you do that, would be, Ɛkwan bɛn so na wobɛtumi ayɛ saa. Again, Ɛkwan bɛn so na wobɛtumi ayɛ saa. Now, that literally in English would be, in what particular way, or in which way, or in what way can you do that? So a scenario would be, let's say, I'm sitting with one of my friends and he's coming up with an idea. Then he's telling me, you know what, Joseph, in order to do this, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm like, how can you do that? So I'm asking him, how can he actually achieve what he wants to achieve? So one can say, Ɛkwan bɛn so na wobɛtumi ayɛ saa. Again, Ɛkwan bɛn so na wobɛtumi ayɛ saa. Now the last way of saying it would be, Sɛn na wobɛtumi ayɛ no. Again, Sɛn na wobɛtumi ayɛ no. So an example would be, let's say I take my phone to a cell phone repair shop. Now the screen is cracked and the guy is busy trying to tell me how he's actually going to fix the screen, right? Then I say, how can you do that? So I'm busy asking him how he can actually fix the screen, right? Now that you can say, Sɛn na wobɛtumi ayɛ no. So how are you going to do it? Sɛn na wobɛtumi ayɛ no, which in turn would be, how can you do that? Now the third thing that Daniel wanted to know was how to say sometimes. Sometimes in TWI can be said as etoda. Again, etoda. Now let me put it in a sentence, right? If I want to say sometimes I cook my own food. Again, sometimes I cook my own food. That in TWI can be said as etoda minwa miara meduane. Etoda, which is sometimes, minwa, I cook, miara, my own, meduane, my food. So again, Etoda menwa miara meduane. Now if I say it smooth, it will be etoda menwa miara meduane. Now the fourth thing that Daniel wanted to know was the water is cold. Now that in Twi can be said as, okay, first of all, let's start with water. I think we all know that water in Twi is nsuo. Cold is nyunu. Water is nsuo. Cold is nyunu. So if you say the water is cold, you'd say nsuo nu ye nyunu. Again, nsuo nu ye nyunu. One last time. Nsuo nu ye nyunu. So you're saying that water is cold, that specific water is cold, or the water is cold, in short. So the fifth thing that Daniel wanted to know was, what was osaberima in English? Now, osaberima in English is powerful warrior. Again, powerful warrior, osaberima. Side note, osa in Twi is war. Osa in Twi is war. So osaberima is actually powerful warrior. Right? Now, the sixth thing that Daniel wanted to know was, jise in Twi is unless. Again, jise in Twi is unless. One last time, jise in Twi is unless. So now the sentence you're going to use would be, you can't go into the room unless you have a key. Again, you can't go into the room unless you have a key. Now that in Twi can be said as, wuntumi nkɔ dan no mu. Jise wowɔ safwa. Again, wuntumi nkɔ dan no mu. Jise wowɔ safwa. So let's break it down, right? Wuntumi in English would be you can't. Kɔ dan no mu is go into the building or go into the room. Jise, unless. Wowɔ safwa, you have a key. Again, wuntumi nkɔ dan no mu. Jise wuwo safwa. And the seventh thing, or the last thing that Daniel wanted to know was, what was eninjijie? Right? I wasn't sure exactly what Daniel wanted to know, so I came up with two things, right? But the most likely thing that I think that Daniel wanted to know was this, right? Ene in Twi is actually voice. Ene is voice in Twi. Njijie is sound. Again, njijie is sound. By the way, side note, dede is noise. Dede is noise. So let's get back to the topic, right? So, ene is voice, sound is njijie, right? Now, we have to remember, I think from our live session that we're saying the other day, or past Sunday, right? Njijie can also mean provocation. Njijie can also mean provocation. So if I come to you, or if I want to say you're provoking me, or you're disturbing me, or you're trying to make me angry, or you're irritating me right now, that in Twi can be said as wu jijimi. Again, wu jijimi. So wu jijimi in English can mean you're irritating me, or you're disturbing me, or you're provoking me. In short, you're trying to make me angry, which is basically provocation, which is also njijie. So, ene is voice, njijie is sound, dede is noise, right? Then again, njijie can also mean provocation, where one can say wu jijimi. Hope you enjoyed this week's lesson. Seeing that you're the only person that actually sent through something, I try to prolong it and try to break it down as much as I can. So I hope this was actually helpful, right? And guys, remember, right? Please keep on spreading the word. Let anyone who wants to learn Twi or want to find out what Twi is about, please come to the channel. And while they're here, if they actually enjoy it, they might actually subscribe and actually join the family. We're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, which is 2021. So please, guys, keep on spreading the word, right? And again, please go to Google Store. Please download the Twi Junior Pro app. With that and these lessons, you learn Twi quicker. And please, if you like the content of the channel, please click on the like button. Please click on the subscribe button, and please click on the bell button for future notifications. And please, remember to stay safe. Lots of love from Kwesi. Bye.